I want to talk to you today about vacuum sealing, especially with these little miniature ones that are portable and they're super handy, and how they can help you build food security in your house and build up your food storage. So if you don't know me, my name is 𝐂𝐎𝐋𝐿 and I teach families all over the world how to save money on groceries. I went a little viral on my produce hacks and there's over 400 videos on how to keep your produce fresh longer. But I also teach canning and food security tips. This is something that I've done for years and I have tons of experience on it. So this is the 𝐂𝐍𝐶80. Like, doesn't that sound like it's a radio station live from anyways, a lot of them are similar. They do the same thing. So as long as you're getting the same results that I'll show you, it really doesn't matter which brand that you have. So, and I just want to clarify, I paid for this by myself. It's not a paid promotion or anything. I wanted to be able to teach you the safest ways to use this. This one in particular has a regular size vacuum sealer on the bottom here. So if you put it on your jar and you think it doesn't fit, that is a wide mouth jar. A regular mouth jar is a little bit smaller, so that's the one that this goes on this first setting. And then to get to this wide mouth setting, the larger setting, you twist it off, and then there is another setting in here. So this is for the wide mouth jars. So I'm just going to hold these up. So this is a regular mouth jar and this is a wide mouth jar, and you can see the difference in the size, but this machine does both of them. I like that it's cordless and it has a USB charger. I have a large food saver that does the same thing for the jars, but I hate getting it off the top shelf and bringing it down for little projects. So oftentimes it stays in there and I wished I would have not been lazy and used it. So this is great that you can store it more easily in your kitchen instead of a big food saver, which is great for like harvest season. And this kit also comes with a few regular mouth lids and wide mouth lids. You possibly might be able to use these once or twice, but eventually after you're lifting them up, they are going to get dented a little bit and then they won't seal. But you can still use those in the pantry for other dry goods that you're using a ring on. I gotta show you a ring or it's gonna drive me crazy. So normally the lids have two pieces. So what we're going to do today will make it, where did they go? What we're doing today will make it where the lid stays on all by itself and it doesn't need the ring. But if you're going to use them again later in your pantry, you can just use it with the ring. Normally your jars, when you buy them from the store, they'll come with the first set of rings and lids, but you can buy extra without having to buy more lids. They're available at all the box stores and on Amazon. So to charge this, all you need is a USB cord and it will charge pretty quickly. The battery already said it had 93% when I was checking this out last night for the first time. And it came with a can lifter. Items like pasta, you don't need to vacuum seal them. You can just put them in glass jars in your pantry. We just did a video on how I store all the items in my pantry in glass jars, so make sure you check that out. We'll make sure to link that in the description. But for this process here, I want to talk about the things that I would use a vacuum sealer for. So normally I buy things in bulk like spices. I will get large bags, either the organic section on Amazon or I buy from Azure Standard. So normally when I'm buying in bulk, instead of buying a 4-ounce quantity, I am buying like 1 or 2 pounds of that spice at a time. When I'm bringing those large bags of spices and herbs home, then I will make sure to vacuum seal the extras into quart-sized jars, even sometimes half-gallon sized jars that all have the wide mouth lid on them. So I will do that, and then instead of them only staying fresh for a year or two, it will prolong the life for at least 5 years plus, depending on which one it is. So if you are wanting to save a little bit of money and buy your spices and herbs in larger quantities of the ones that you're going to actually use, then using a vacuum sealer like this is a great investment. Another thing for food security is oftentimes we will buy items that are freeze-dried. Hopefully someday we will get a freeze dryer from Harvest Right and be able to freeze dry our own produce, our own fruits and vegetables. But until then, we buy them in these number 10 cans. This one's from ReadyWise. Some of these are in our long-term food storage that we don't plan on opening for like 30 years or unless there's an emergency. But sometimes I have extra of the different fruits that we're going to add to like our oatmeals or muffins, different things to have fresh snacks, fresh freeze-dried snacks. But whenever you open these, they will start to soften really quickly. So this is another item that is really great when you open a jar like this, that you can divide it into smaller jars and then vacuum seal it. So then it gives it that shelf life that is a lot longer. Another item that this vacuum sealer is perfect for is if you are dehydrating your own items. So things like apple slices you might dehydrate. These are still crunchy because they have stayed in a jar for over a year. And then I have these really expensive Chantilly mushrooms, and I've been saving them for a special occasion. This again is dried in a dehydrator before I put them in the jar. So these are also still fresh, but dried. And if I vacuum seal these, they will stay fresh even longer. So it's really important that you are thinking about vacuum sealing things like dehydrated items that have all of the moisture out of them. Things like spices and herbs and freeze-dried items that you want to put into smaller quantities. I just want to show you what a jar looks like when it just has the lid and this is completely vacuum sealed on it. So jars like this that have the rings on them in my pantry, I know that these are not vacuum sealed and they're the ones that are next to eat. So normally I'll have quite a few jars of apples and the one with the ring on it is the one that's not vacuum sealed anymore. So the jars will keep a lot of the air out of it and it won't be able to bring in more air into the jar. So you can just close those back up if this is something that you're going to eat in the next couple of months. Sometimes you can use these twice or 3 times when you're using them on dry goods with the vacuum sealer, but it's really going to depend on how solid the seal is on there and how much you have to use the jar lifter to get it up, because as soon as you start bending it and the integrity is broken around the seal, then it won't seal again. But you can still reuse these in your pantry for things that you're going to be getting into often with the lid and the ring. I'm going to use the vacuum sealer and show you how I seal a regular mouth lid and also a wide mouth lid so you can see the difference. So normally around 30 seconds, all the air will be out, but you'll be able to hear it sound a little bit different, and that's when you can turn it off. That was 39 seconds. Now we're gonna check and make sure that it's sealed. Nope. Just gonna give it a couple extra seconds. Oh, there you go. That one's sealed. So you should be able to pull and tug on it at the same time and it shouldn't lift off at all. I don't want it to like pop weird or something. See, this did exactly what it should. Now, I love showing you all the items that it's safe to vacuum seal. There are a few more. I wouldn't suggest doing sugar or brown sugar. It can become rock hard in the jar if you're going to do that. Again, watch that other pantry video that we're going to link in the description if you have questions about more dry goods storage. But I want to talk about First, I want to talk about the box of this. So this is a box that it came in, and it shows, it looks like oatmeal with fruit, a stew or a chili, and green beans, and then there's some kind of dry good over here on the side. So this is the box that the company had sent this in. None of these items, besides this one over here, are safe to do with this machine. So this is not in replacement of pressure canning or water bath canning, any of these kind of items. So I just want to be really clear so you are safe with your family, that these items need to be either water bath or pressure canned. It is not safe just to get a seal on a jar. For canning, it has to be reached to a certain temperature to kill all of the botulism and other pathogens that might be in your jar. And if you put a jar of peaches that were just sealed with this canner, well, one, it would probably blow its top within about 2 weeks, but it is not safe for your family. The other scary thing about this is some people might not understand this and watch all of the videos that people are making on TikTok, especially going by what this box says, and could possibly seal a jar with something and put a ring on it and give it away to somebody, and you would never know that they didn't properly can the item. I think it's so important, not only when you are making items for canning or food storage for yourself, but especially when you get an item from a friend. If you get something that has a ring on it and it has been on somebody's shelf, you don't know if it's had a false seal on it. I think we're going to end up doing a whole nother video on false seals, so it's easy to research this and find it again for later. But just note, just because somebody has it sealed doesn't mean that it was canned properly and that it's safe. So all of the recipes for these items are on our blog, so make sure you check them out. I will never post a rebel recipe or something that is not safe for your family and loved ones. Make sure to follow along if you want to learn more about having food security in your house. We're going to make this into a playlist with some of the other items that I use to provide food security for us, including like Mylar bags and canned items and bulk storage.